I'm the Awarded for Kit Guru. Today's review is of this Patriot Viper RGB RAM, which is DDR4 rated at 3600 megahertz. It's 2 by 8 gigabytes equals 16 gig. It's very RGB, and it has this fairly extraordinary, massively interfaced Patriot software to control it. It is currently in what they call Viper mode, which seems appropriate because of the whole snake type thing. And if you look on the sides of the heat spreaders, you will see there are the Viper eyes, which are part and parcel of the RGB lighting. The lighting is not just along the top, it also goes down the sides. So at one level, is there a huge amount to say? It's memory, it's got RGB. On the other hand, look at that sticker there. It's compatible with all 4 of the major RGB control softwares. So we've got Gigabyte RGB Fusion, we've got Asus Aura, we've got MSI Mystic Light, and we have ASRock Polychrome Sync. When you get home with your shiny new packet of Patriot Viper RGB memory, you can head off to the Patriot website, download this software, install it and control it thusly, or alternatively, you can use the software that's already running on your RGB enabled motherboard. In this instance, it's an Asus Crosshair 7 Hero Wi-Fi motherboard, so that's AM4 for Ryzen, which is a point of interest in and of itself, and it has Asus Aura software controlling the board. So let's just get out of the Patriot and fire up Aura. Here we have the Asus Aura software running. It's specifically version 1.06.29. That's significant because the software has been updated very recently, around about Computex time, and the latest update supports both the Patriot Viper RGB and also HyperX RGB. That's their first RGB memory. So this version of the software is significant. Now, I must confess, I'm not a colossal fan of Asus Aura software in that the interface is kind of a little bit, well, basic. Having said that, it works perfectly well. Provided it's happy with the hardware you've got installed, it works. In this instance, on this Asus motherboard, it's controlling the illumination in the chipset heatsink, also on the I/O panel, and the memory. And it's working perfectly well. We're just going through a kind of a color cycle at the moment, and you can see that the memory and the heatsink, they're doing the same color. The shades aren't exactly the same, but that's certainly orange, going to yellow, going to green, going to blah, blah, blah. The GTX 980 graphics card, yes, it's a slightly old graphics card, has a constant green light. So anytime this happens to match, it's entirely coincidental. Just ignore that. So color cycle working perfectly well, or we can go for all the usual Aura types of things, you know, where the lights chase themselves around or do clever things or respond to music or whatever. Memory speeds available with either black or white heatsinks: 2666 megahertz, 3000 or 3200. If you go up to the pure black territory, you've got 3600 or 4133. I noticed that Patriot's own shop on amazon.co.uk has each of these memories listed, so that gives me essentially the SRP, but they don't for some reason have the 4133 listed. I kind of had to deduce the price of that myself. You can find each of the memories on sale elsewhere for like a £30 discount approximately, so you could buy, if you want to think of it this way, the next speed bump at SRP, you can buy it discounted. So instead of buying 3200 at manufacturer's price, you could buy the 3600 discounted, if you see what I mean. The entry-level one kit is the 2666, and that is SRP 195, or you can buy it for 165 discounted. The 3000 is only slightly more expensive, a couple of pounds, doesn't really make a lot of sense. 3200 219 SRP, discounted to 185, and then the prices go to a bit steeper when you're into 3600 and the 4133. This 3600 is Samsung B die, according to the software I'm using. At any rate, I don't know what chips are on the slower memory. I'm going to take a punt and say it's not going to be B die. That wouldn't make a lot of sense to use it on the slower memory, and I'm going to have to assume the 4133 is B die because I can't think there's anything else that does those speeds. Performance. In the great scheme of things, making a sweeping statement, faster memory doesn't make a lot of difference to the speed of your PC. Once you've removed the bottlenecks in terms of latency and performance, it's all much of a muchness. The one area where faster memory certainly helps is minimum frame rates in games. Average frame rates, if you put faster memory in, I'm prepared to bet you money you won't see any increase. If you put faster memory in, on the other hand, your minimum frame rates will very likely go up by a measurable amount. So that's obviously a good thing, but it's obviously a niche thing. The other place that good memory makes a difference is with integrated graphics, so specifically with AMD APUs, because of course the graphics are proper graphics and the system memory is acting as graphics memory. So faster memory helps. I've tested using this Asus Crosshair 7 Hero Wi-Fi motherboard because I wanted to see how well or otherwise this memory behaved with AMD, an AMD platform. I'm kind of sick to death of testing memory on Intel platforms, plus also the manufacturers have had many years to get it right with Intel. AMD, with the first gen Ryzen, so just over a year ago now, initially memory compatibility was absolutely shocking. With the second gen Ryzen, the die shrink, memory compatibility A, improved, and B, you could run faster memory. Nonetheless, a year ago running 3600 MHz memory on Ryzen 7 would have been wishful thinking. That's all there is to it. In this instance, it's just behaved absolutely like a dream, absolutely fine, and very pleasing to see. Balanced against that, the benefit of running 3600 rather than 3200, as far as I can see, is basically next to nothing. So it works, it doesn't cause a problem. I'm quite sure, therefore, if you go down the stack to 32 or 3000 or 2666, that will also be fine. I would be kind of intellectually curious to run the 4133 on an AMD platform just to see if it works, because 3600 is pushing the limit, so 4133, who knows? I have to say my personal instinct is not, but until I try it, I can't say. So this 3600 works absolutely fine on this Ryzen 7 platform. I'm certain that it will work absolutely fine on any Intel platform you choose to select. The memory modules stand 45mm tall, which is frankly average, especially for RGB memory. This low profile Radeon branded memory is 20mm lower, so if you've got concerns about clearance to a liquid cooler or some such at the top of the case, then something like this is the type of thing you'd have previously been interested in, or Corsair LPX. This is absolutely mainstream, really tall memory, really tall heat spreaders, can be up to 60mm. That can cause you problems, but this is absolutely fine. And if you look at the bulky heat sinks on the top of the Asus motherboard, you can see that in the great scheme of things, that's not likely to give you concern. You should be able to install it without any drama. Your cooling should go in all around it. You should be absolutely fine. In terms of the aesthetics, I imagine you came to an opinion almost as soon as you saw it, which is it looks absolutely fine. The illumination goes along the light bar perfectly well. You've got a diffuser, but you can see the LEDs underneath absolutely clearly. Having said that, they make the point that you can customize the 5 zones using their own software should you choose. I'm not entirely clear why you'd want to do that. I think most people just pick one of the synced patterns and let the board get away giving it the whole RGB thing. It looks absolutely fine. The Viper eyes on the side, obviously at one level it's corporate branding. Either you like the look of that or you don't. You might want more RGB than just along the top, so having something on the side might do something for you. If it doesn't, I entirely understand. I can't get excited about that, I truly can't, but it's one of those things that if you want the option, it's there. The RGB does not look quite as bling as the revised lighting we've seen on both Corsair and G-Skill actually. They're both upcoming. They've been working hard on their RGB, which I think actually tells a tale. We all know that deep down there are only 3 manufacturers of memory chips, Samsung, SK Hynix and Intel Micron, and that companies such as Patriot are packaging the memory in the same way that Corsair and many other companies are. So they're essentially in a bind. They have to kind of try and make their products stand out. Clearly 3600 megahertz memory in and of itself, you can buy it from a number of different suppliers, so they've gone for their own take on RGB with their own software. Pricing for this 3600 megahertz kit is it's actually pretty good as 3600 megahertz memory goes. £260 list for 16 gig, discounted to 235, but then 3600 is fast memory. Now you can make the case very easily, and our test figures do, you don't need 3600 megahertz memory, so common sense would probably say actually step down to the 3200, save yourself £50. You won't notice the difference in terms of performance, almost certainly not. The age-old argument, but honestly, the 3200, without testing it, I'm quite confident is going to deliver almost all the benefits of this 3600. And as I say, prices are just stratospheric. They have been for a year and a half to 2 years. They're going to be, as far as I can see, for a good long while yet. It's just how it is. Hoping that memory is going to come down. Good luck with that. Very encouraging to see this memory is fully compatible with AMD. Very nice to see it work absolutely fine with the Asus Aura software, and it claims to be compatible with all 4 types of RGB software. This is good news. So the really joyous news here is no problems whatsoever. It fits, it works, it does the job. You don't need to worry about using Patriot's own software if you don't, but if you choose, you can. Bingo, job done, result. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you want more from Kit Guru, click to subscribe. I'm Leo Waldock. This is Patriot Viper RGB 16GB DDR4 3600.